Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Generational Health with my co-host, Miss Whitney. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. It's pretty gloomy outside, but it's okay. I am choosing to have a good day. So,
I love that you're choosing to have a good day. Well,
yeah.
before we get started, you all make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. Today, we are talking about the capacity to stretch. And you might be looking at our screens and saying, well, what are those two up to today? Well, on my screen, it says, and backward. Because you know what? Sometimes, and the breakage here is just a symbol of sometimes in order to grow and stretch, you have to tear down some of the old stuff. You have to break it up in essence. You know what I'm saying? So that you can take those broken pieces and put those broken pieces back together. So the capacity to stretch is full, it's loaded. So make sure you stay to the end because I'm sure there's going to be some nuggets that you can pick up as me and Whitney discuss capacity to stretch and as we learn ourselves, because I'm learning from our segments. There's so much rich information that we can share with one another and pick up and actually, go into living our best lives. So what did you want to, I'm putting the mic in your on your side.
Just thinking about capacity to stretch in terms of like fitness and just because for me, illustrations and like examples really help drive concepts home for me. Just thinking about it in terms of like muscle building. Um, like the only way that you build your muscle is by putting pressure on it and stretching. Like you're creating these micro tears in your muscle as you're like lifting weights and putting that weight on it. So if you don't create the pressure and you don't create the tears, then you don't give your muscle what it needs in order for it to be able to grow. So it's almost like you have to go through the stretching and you have to go through the breaking and you have to go through like the places where you feel like you don't have capacity to do anymore. Like you just have to, you got to stop in order for you to actually grow. So I think that that concept translates into life in general. I know it's a place that I'm in, even thinking on it from like a mental perspective of like same concept. If you like, if I'm stuck in the same train of thought regarding life, regarding my health, regarding like my habits, anything, if I'm stuck in that same and I don't give myself any pressure like to change, I don't put any weight on it to do something different, then I'm not going to grow in that area. Like I have to be willing to get out of my comfort zone. I have to be willing to get more information or ask for help or like just step out of what I'm already doing. Otherwise, there's no growth and there's just stagnation.
I love everything that you just said. I love the fact about being willing, and I want to talk about that just a little bit because it's something that I've had to really work on was not just my capacity to change and stretch. I definitely every day go into each day just with a blank canvas saying, okay, what I learned yesterday, I'm filing that in file, whatever, 13 or whatever. And then, okay, now what can I add to that so that I can stretch and be better and be more personally developed and walk in my purpose. But something that I had to learn, and it was a really, really hard lesson for me. And it kind of, I mean, if we're talking about uh, in the metaphoric contents, a breaking of my heart in order for me to grow and for me to see things in a different way. My father used to tell me that I saw things through rose-colored glasses, and he used to say, "Baby, if you don't see the whole picture, you're going to continue to be hurt." And I didn't understand it as a little girl or as even a teenager and a young adult. But I kept running into the same situations and the same type of people, and I realized that through, law of attraction and other things that I've learned because I opened myself up and allowed myself the capacity to stretch and learn. And I learned that, I if I kept doing the same thing and inviting the same people into my life in a different body, but the same personality types, the same, people that were kind of starch in their ways and unwilling to change, that I couldn't want change or couldn't want more better or better for them than they wanted for themselves. And that kind
Mhm.
of broke my heart because I saw I have a gift of seeing a gift in other people, but I had to pull back and understand that they have to want it. I can't want it more for them. And then also something in being transparent, I realized that I was pouring my efforts and pouring so much into other people because of fear from myself to put the light or the spotlight on myself.
Mm.
And when I came into being a published author of, hey, plug, it's smoothie time. When I became that author, a published author, I realized that I had to go ahead and, accept that I am going to be in the spotlight and I am going to be that, that leading person, and to be okay and comfortable with that, and not always feeling that I had to shift it to other people, just walking in what my purpose is. And I just, that was a huge, when I say huge for me to stretch, I love pushing other people out there. So
Yeah.
that was huge for me.
That's such a good revelation. I think even just here's that generational thing of just me listening and kind of being able to filter my life and my experiences through that revelation that you're sharing. Because I absolutely I know that that's a thing for me as well. And I know that it's something that I am currently literally today working through day by day of what is it that's, because I kind of got into a space of, well, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you really doing? How to, I've been assisting people. I told my husband in the car, it was so random. We were driving. I don't even know what we were talking about. And I looked up and I was like, I've been an assistant for 20 years. Since I was 13 years old, I've been an assistant in some shape or form for 20 years. And I'm only 33, but for me to have been doing that for 20 years and then only 13 of them not, my entire perspective is about how I show up in the world and how I contribute has always been my value is only in supporting somebody else's dream, or it's only in pushing somebody else to the front, or it's only in making somebody else's thing come to pass, because I'm putting seed in the ground, and one day it'll be my time to step into the light. But because I've been doing that for 20 years,
Yes.
I don't have experience stepping into the light. So there's this compounding fear of what does that even look like? It's like walking into it's like going to a foreign country. You don't know the language, the culture, how to eat, how to talk, how to interact. And I think that has been causing this stagnation of fear of action, because I'm like, oh, I know what it looks like to help somebody else get there. But when I have to turn that light on me and be like, okay, now what do you need to do to get there? That's where my capacity to stretch is really being tested right now. Because it's like, well, if it's not happening, it's because you're not doing it, because you're the person in the driver's seat now. But I don't have experience with that. So it's like I'm learning how to walk again.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy for these podcasts, and I'm so happy that we're able to share this, because sometimes you can sit in your own silent bubble of torment and torture and fear because you haven't shared it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't share this with you, that this is what I've been doing my entire life, but it was always having, oh my goodness, I'm about to jump up and run around and I can't do it right now, y'all, because I dragged earpieces all over the place. But I'm so excited to be able to say to you is that because you're now ready, all of that was your training field. All of that was your training. And because you're now ready, I do believe that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The teacher will be there. And that's what happened with me. My coach, I talk about him all the time, is Mr. Michael Bart Matthews. And I give him a plug because he is a phenomenal coach, a phenomenal mentor. And his wife, Robbie Matthews, is also amazing. I have more opportunity to work with Mr. Michael Bart Matthews than I do with Robbie Matthews. But every time our interaction and her, input and everything has enriched me. And see, with me, I was seeking for women to be able to show me how to be the entrepreneur woman, the woman that leads. And, because I already knew that leadership ability was already in me. I think it's something that you're born with. I mean, you can work through maybe, adding, strengthening it, but I think it's born in you, but I think as life starts happening, it kind of molds you, and it kind of pulls you away from your actual purpose, like, and if you're not conscious of it and you're not walking intentionally in it, you will become a part of somebody else's vision. And it's okay to support them in the vision, but it's not okay to lose sight of your vision. So for me, as I'm mentoring other women, which I'm so excited to be able to, because I pull out what the women that mentored me, I pull out the good and then I throw away the bad. Because often one thing that when women are mentoring each other, we can't get jealous of the other person. We want that person that you're pouring into to stand on our shoulders and to be even greater. That's a compliment to you. That's like one of the greatest compliments for your mentee, to just blossom and bloom and even exceed what you've accomplished. And so, I think I go back to biblical principle. That's something that it is biblical. It says that greater work shall we do. And so that's what we should put into the people that we mentor. But going back to the mentor part of it, I've had people to mentor me, and this is, a part of my journey and what's helped mold me and create me into who I am today. But I've had mentors in the past that have used me, that have abused me, that have taken me for granted, that have, when I say use, I mean even, to the point of wanting to keep me stagnant because I'm producing for them versus helping me to become who God has intended for me to be. So when you walk into and you meet a mentor, like I said, I've had several, but he stands out. He stands out because, it was the sincere heart to help, the sincere heart to help pull out the greatness inside of me and to be able to identify it and see it. And when you haven't been around a lot of people that were genuine and sincere at heart, when somebody does come into your life, you can identify it. You identify, wow, this is different. And as you continue to walk, wow, this is different. And you realize that that's an amazing blessing from God, because he knew that you needed someone to help you get to the next stage.
Yeah, that's
You know,
really good. That's
and
really good.
and break through those terror barriers. That's what
Yeah.
that's something that Bob Proctor and John Tallarico, and that whole group, that's what they teach you, how to get through those terror barriers. And see,
Yeah.
sometimes we can have mentors, like everybody knows, Les Brown has been a mentor of mine forever. And I've only recently met him via Zoom. And it hasn't been like a one-on-one meeting, but a Zoom meeting and being invited. So you can have mentors that deposit things into your life. And then when you have a hands-on mentor, that's how I say, God says just enough light for the step that you're on. So he'll give you just enough light to get to the next step, but you have to be intentional and you have to be mindful.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And I think I don't know, because I completely 100,000,000% believe in mentors and mentorship. I think where I am in life is me learning where I'm being stretched is learning how to trust my own voice, my own intuition, and really believe in my capacity to create what God has called me to create without outside voices. And that's the part that scares me, because then I have to trust in, like, I have to believe in me as much as I believed in other people. And that is like, oh my goodness, what is this new territory? And it's something that I'm welcoming, but it's something that I'm learning, where my comfort is information. And so it's like, it's because I'm a learner and I'm a researcher and I'm like, knowledge. But what happens is I will wait for someone to give me permission to act on something, like, oh yeah, it's okay to do that. Not like me literally going up to somebody and saying, hey, can I create this course? Like, not that, but like me listening to their content and then me being like, okay, well, they say you shouldn't do this until then. So, okay, I'm not going to do this till then. Or they say you shouldn't do this and then having like 5 to 10 people all saying different stuff is like
Mhm.
the voice gets lost in there. And
Mhm.
so I'm learning how to like, I'm learning how to focus, less stuff, more focus. And I'm learning how to trust my own voice and know that like just because my mentor has said do such and such, that may have worked for them, and I can take all the goodness out of that conversation, but I shouldn't base every move that I make, every step that I take on whether they say it's okay or not. And
But
that's
guess,
like, whew,
mhm. But let me give you a paradigm shift in that. And I'm not saying that every mentor has their own style, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But a coach doesn't tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They coach you into finding your own voice and having the confidence to execute
Absolutely.
in your own voice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. And
Yeah.
so that's what I had to learn as well, because it's so funny. I'm like it's like so much I want to say about it, because I had to learn that too, because you also have to learn to listen to your inner voice as to which mentor or coach is actually
Mm,
mentoring you and coaching you based
yeah.
out of your purpose versus their own manipulation.
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
that's and that's the part that when you have mentored, and see, I could have been, bitter. I could have been shut down, but I listened to like my spirit say, this is the right time, this is the right team that can help you get to where you need to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, just like with Michael Jordan and Steph Curry and all these great players, sometimes we get burnt by mentors or coaches, and then we shut down
Yeah.
to that. But our blessing is that every great player needed a coach to
Mm-hmm.
to just kind of to assage them. When I first started out with the book, I met a couple of people that could have helped me to get there, but my spirit just wasn't, it wasn't propelled to move forward. Like, it was just like something there.
Yeah.
And even, I met someone famous, and years ago, I mean, this is 19, I don't know, maybe 98 or something like that. And we started talking about the book, and he'd been on TV and written books and all of this. He actually chased me down at the bookstore that I was in one day, and he was showing me that it was him on the book, because I didn't recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, we talked, and we shared information, and I kept thinking about the Forrest Gump story. And it's alleged that the Forrest Gump, his story was taken from him because he didn't understand. See, sometimes we're offered a check for our work with some zeros that we've never seen before, but we don't understand that the work is valued at many, many, many more zeros than
Yeah.
what we're accustomed to. So sometimes we jump at the dime when the dollar is sitting over there. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we just, for the lack of knowledge, we don't know, we perish. So getting involved with a mentor or mentor team that has already walked the walk and has already been there helps you to even be even more secure. So when I put my book um, in the We Create Books team's hand, I had no reserve, no reservation, no anything,
Yeah.
because I listened to my spirit say, this is the right time. These are the right people. You can
Mm-hmm.
trust this. So that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that, sometimes if we're only using our own frame of reference, we're only limited to what we know. But when you
Mm-hmm.
when you have giants in your corner, and you know that they're sincere, it's phenomenal. This is a surreal experience that I'm experiencing right now, and I'm happy to
Yeah.
be able to share that with you too. Because I felt that at first. I just threw my work back on the shelf and was like, I'm not pulling this out, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to be a part of my family legacy, and my children to read it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, when the teacher is ready, or when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But you have to be ready, and that's what I love that you're doing right now. You're molding, and you're getting ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would absolutely like, I don't discount coaching at all. I think it's something, I think people are still learning what coaching is. It's still relatively fairly a newer concept, coaching beyond like the athletic field. Like, what does coaching look like in life and finance and business performance transformation? So absolutely, if I could, I would choose coaches over mentors, just because of I think that there's more clarity coming in terms of what coaching is, and it not being okay, the way that I perceived mentorship from the places that I learned was essentially like, you seek after your mentor. They don't seek after you. You serve your mentor while they teach you. You build their thing while they teach you. Like, it was always this like dump into, dump into, dump into. And one day, like, you'll be great, or like something like that, as
Yeah.
opposed to coaching being very much, oh no, I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to ask you clarifying questions until you get it out of yourself, because you as a human being inherently know what's best. I just have to help you essentially see that and help you pull out of that and maybe connect you to some resources and stuff. But it's not because you're like, it's very clear in terms of like, when you hire a coach, you're hiring a coach. Like, you are paying, you are investing in yourself and allowing them to coach you through a process. So that's clear to me now at 33, but that wasn't something that I had been introduced to until I started learning about coaching, which wasn't until like maybe 2016, 2017. And so I think it's where, just clarifying kind of like where I am mentally, isn't necessarily discounting the mentorship or the coaching and its impact, but more so having been in a space of not having clarity with what that is for 20 years. It's like, okay, it's a season for you to essentially purge, like recalibrate what your entire thought process is in terms of what a mentor and a coach is. And like, now you get to stand at the helm of your life and determine, okay, what do I need? And what do I need to seek after? And okay, if this is a coach, I'm hiring a coach. I'm not like pleading and begging with the coach, oh, will you serve and help me? Like, it's no, I am making a conscious decision because I know that this is what I want out of my life, to hire this particular coach to help me in this area so that I can create this transformation in my life. And so in order for me to like process through that, I have to step back, because I got 20 years of stuff up here that I'm filtering my decisions through, that I can't do that or I'm going to keep hitting that same wall. So just offering that bit of context and clarity for the viewers, so you guys know
Yes.
it's not, I'm not discounting mentorship or coaching, just my unique journey and kind of where I am. I'm in a space of reset, essentially.
And that's a good. I'm glad you explained that thoroughly, because what popped in my spirit is, see, the thing of it is, and it's why it's so important that we share generationally with our children. And we're just, I mean, we've had a great relationship, but I see some holes in there where I was still learning and I'm still, growing. And so some things that I haven't been able to, share, because I was still in the process of growing myself and in the process of growing in those areas myself. So what we're able to do now is to share this information with other people so that other moms and daughters and whomever watch can say, wow, wait a minute. I don't have to hit my head on that same brick wall, because
Yeah.
believe you me, there's a lot of brick walls to hit your head on. I promise you, they're ahead. But this is the thing. You said something so key and important. You said internship, mentorship, and clarity. See,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. See, there's a lot of folk out here that will use you, and they will use it under the disguise of mentorship, or disguise it under, okay, so it's nothing wrong with internship. I've learned a lot from internship, but this
Mm-hmm.
is where I dropped the ball. I didn't understand, or I didn't have the courage enough or the confidence enough to clarify what the relationship was.
Mm.
And so therefore, I allowed the mentor, I allowed the person in charge of the internship, if you will, to dictate what that was. And I just followed. And
Mm-hmm.
I modeled that before you. You see what I'm saying? So a
Mm.
lot of things are learned behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So when you model that in front of somebody, and somebody that's an impressionable, somebody that looks up to you as a mom, when you model that behavior in front of them, then those are the things that people start to assimilate. That you start to think, okay, so that's real. That's how life is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, let's clarify this, and that's something I want to get crystal clear today. Being crystal clear on what the intent of a relationship is, what the intent of a partnership is, what the intent of a transaction is. understanding it and knowing that we have the right to clarify it. And if a person is resistant to us clarifying it, then that is a red flag that is something wrong. It's something that you don't, because down the line, it may feel good or be good, or you may think that you're getting something right up front. But as you walk through that relationship that started off on unclear intention, as you move forward in that, there's a disaster coming. Because as you start to grow and as you start to your capacity to stretch, you start to change, then it's not going to be received well.
Yeah, you don't
because you
fit
didn't
in the
start
box
off.
that they've created for you.
You don't fit in that. Say that again. You don't fit
in the box that they've created for you.
That somebody else created for you.
Yeah, or that you've allowed someone to put you in.
You've allowed somebody to put you in. That's it right there. Let me tell you one of my greatest coaches. You ready? Coach Whitney.
Me?
Yeah, you. You want to know how?
How?
Because oftentimes it was frustrating, y'all. You know what? Moms appreciate the fact that we grow up in our time. Our daughters, and they grow up in their time, and sons grow up in their time. Technology changed, things change, applications change, the world changes. And you know, people have such a hard time with that change. So me being a person that was so used to pen and paper, and I still have notebooks everywhere, pen and paper and everything. When technology hit, I was lost. And I was still trying to hold on to my dinosaur ways of doing everything. Think about it. When I was younger, we did paper applications and taking them into places and calling it, you know, it wasn't all this on the computers, y'all. When I was in business working in real estate, we didn't, the real estate office, when I first started, we didn't even have a computer. We had these, you know, these word processors.
Yep.
Okay. So when you think about that, so now if somebody's stretching you into applications and you think you got to suit up and boot up to go put an application in, and now it's just on the computer. And even now, fast forward into 2021, it's on the computer and it's like, okay, get ready for your Zoom call. Just don't stand up because I know you don't have your pants on. You know what I'm saying? So everything changed. So going back to my coach, Whitney, she doesn't even know this or haven't heard this, but the thing of it is, I saw something in her when I was asking her to help me, you know, maybe design a logo or help me do whatever. Now, she knew I wasn't good at design, so she did. Well, what do you want? What colors you want? How do you want it? And she did it. But then when there was things that she knew that she could stretch me at, and she don't even know I know this, y'all, but I know what she was doing. Stretch me at and teach me in, she would say, okay, Mom, let's set up some time and I'm going to walk you through it. Hence, she didn't say I'm going to do it for you. And I'm like, girl, I got all this over here. Why can't she just do it? But guess what? I am so happy because fast forward to today, I was able to create a program, an academy that just blew me away. And it's because my daughter didn't say, Mom, let me do it for you. Even though I've had these conversations with myself, like, why can't she just make it easy and just do the doggone thing? But I'm happy that she didn't, because she taught me how to fish. So when I called, when she looked at my program, I was like, Ma, you did this, Ma, you did that, or Ma, you can work Zoom. Hold on, you can turn on the computer. Hold on, Mom, you did what? When she do all of that, it's like, she has no idea. She actually, and I want to thank you for that. I thank you. I absolutely thank you, because you gave me a gift. You gave me the capacity to stretch. Technology scared the bejeebies out of me. And then also with the accident, and I'll share this because it's also coming up in the next book. When I was in my accident, y'all, I hit my head so hard on the steering wheel that I severed 3 parts of my brain. Okay. Now, I never told anybody. I never told my children, never told other people, because I always felt embarrassed about accidents or becoming or feeling like I was falling short of something. I always felt like I was Superman or Superwoman and I had to always have it together and be okay. So while I have sticky notes here to remind myself to do things, I mean, initially it was so bad that when my children left for school, I forgot to lock the door. So the sequence of things was all messed up. So I was so used to putting makeup on and clothes and getting ready that people around me, and I take people to the doctors with me. So my family had no clue, no idea. I was handling it myself. I was going to handle this, I had to stop cooking in the oven because I would forget the next sequence of things, as far as taking a pan out with the mitt. I would go in to grab it because I would forget that you need a mitt on. So it was like I had to redevelop and retrain my brain to, do things and learn how to do stuff over again, even knock my eyes off balance. So I share that to say that, no matter what challenges you face, you can overcome those challenges. You can learn. And so the one thing that my daughter didn't understand is that when she did those videos, I was able to listen to them over and over and over again to then apply it. Where in my brain, I was like, oh, why can't she just do this? And it's like, no, she was teaching me to fish. And I'm sure had she knew the challenges I was going through, she'd have made the time and just did it. But I'm so happy. Again, God gives you just enough light for the stair that you're on. And when you look up, you see the result. Like now I see, all that she was teaching me. And yes, your children can teach you, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're supposed to help each other to be better. Iron sharpens iron. So I thank her for that because, she actually taught me how to fish. And to this day, I'm so excited that I was able to, I was able to do it. I mean, it took me forever, but I was able to do it.
You know what? Thank you for sharing that, because that was actually very challenging for me because I wanted to just do it for you. But I knew that where you are, what you see, like the visions that you have for things, like you would want to do it again and again. Like you would want to be able to know how to build it, because I know you, I know my mom, and I know that you are, not were, like this empowered woman that gets things done. Like it's just who you are. You may do it a little bit differently now than you did when I was 12 or 20, but that's who you are. And I knew that you would feel that once, like that. When I finished putting it together myself, I was like, oh, this feels great. And I wanted you to feel that, like,
Yes.
because you put the effort in and you were able to kind of get through it, so you would know I'm still here, this still me. Like, so it was very hard as I was recording videos. I was like, I should just do this for her. But I can't. So thank you for that reflection, because it was challenging on my end too.
See, we never know, and I think that's what I want everybody to understand, the capacity to stretch. It's so much in that. It's so much power in that. We may think that, I'm not technologically savvy, or, the high school I went to taught us out the wrong books, or, or I'm falling short on this, or I don't know this and somebody else does. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you show up and that you keep executing and that you keep asking for help. It's nothing wrong with that. And until we get that in our heads, there's nothing wrong with receiving help. But we must educate ourselves and have the right support system around you that actually have your back and actually want the best for you. And then, think about it. We can just continue to move forward and continue to be our best selves and live a great life. I mean, it's just, I'm blessed. I always say that, God gave me gifts, and I've considered my children as gifts, even being a single mom and it being really difficult. And it was a lot of tearful nights, in my pillow, but I was determined that I was going to give them the best version of myself that I could, and continue to learn and continue to move forward and continue to teach them, because I considered them God's precious gifts to me. And if He gave me or believed enough in me to gift me with such precious gifts, then I was going to get out there and I was going to do my best.
You did. You really, really did. I know we talk about this probably every other video, but you really, really did. Like, I am so, so blessed. It sounds like a Hallmark card, but I am so blessed to have you as my mom. And I know my siblings are as well. And like, I know no family is perfect or anything like that, but you did a really great job. I stand here sometimes and look at my life and I'm like, this is mom, like all day. There, had you not been there, I don't know where I would be, like
Mm,
what my life would look like. And it's such a blessing to be able to stand here and be like, this is pretty good. Like literally the place that I live in told me that I could not live here. But because I saw my mom, when people like said things, I saw my mom research, get on phone calls, call the news. Like I saw my mom like go in. Like, so that's what I did. And so I'm living here because I was able to like have that courage to come up from me and be like, okay, no, I need to, that you said this, but that's not the real answer. Okay, so let's dig into that. Let's have a conversation. Okay, this is the document. I have proof. Da, 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 all that other stuff. Oh, it was a mistake. Here you go. Here are your keys. Like you taught me how to fight, like, and not with my fists, but like with my brain and with my words and with like my interactions with people and how to do it in a very professional way. Travis, well, he said like I cut people with love or something like that. That's how, and I don't do it for everything, but when certain like injustices happen, like I can't stand to see somebody getting picked on. I'm very quiet. Like I don't generally, I'm like an introvert. I'm not being on video like this is very out of my my comfort zone, which my mother is doing intentionally. But like if injustice happens, or if I see somebody getting picked on, or like if I see somebody trying to like run over somebody, something clicks up like on and mom comes out. Like not me being my daughter's mom, like my mom comes out of my mouth and like handles the situation and then I wake up. And so I'm beyond grateful for that because I know a lot of my life has been like, yes, I've had my issues of like still trying to figure out myself, my identity, all of that, who I am and all that. But when it comes to like somebody being treated wrong, it doesn't work. I know we probably have to go, but there's one funny story that I have. My sister was younger and she came up here. I don't know if I told you this story, mom, but she came up here because they used to come up here over like some holidays or stuff like that. So she was up here and we went Black Friday shopping and she was younger and it was me and my husband and my sister. And we went to a store, a big department store that no longer is in operation, but a big department store. And we were all standing in line and they opened the doors and we, you know, how Black Friday lines are. So everybody's like going in like ants. And this lady pushed my sister to get into the door. I think I saw red. I don't know. I don't know what happened. All I know is I opened my eyes and me and my sister were halfway across the store. I was tapping the lady, telling her to apologize. I don't even know how I got there. I have no idea how I got there, but I know, no, you're not. Like, this is a kid and a human, and you pushed her to get into a department store to get into. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. And Travis was like, we just ran across the store and just tapped that lady on her shoulder. But
oh,
that's what my mother taught me how to do, guys.
wow, that was such a that was such a blessing. That was a blessing, a blessing, a blessing. Man, wow, you just stretched me today. I mean, I'm working on some things right now, and sometimes we have to be reminded of those things that we implement or those things that we put into others, especially, you know, our amazing children, adult children. And sometimes I just look and I watch them in their lives, and it's so funny, you all, just watching them in their lives. It's amazing. Watching them be parents and watching and actually hearing yourself come out in them and then hearing them say, wow, that sounds like mom, you know. So anyhow, what are your final words for the day? Giving advice on capacity to stretch.
It would be maybe trust yourself as much as you trust other people with your trust yourself as much as you trust in other people to like get their stuff done. Like, know that you can do it. Know that you are just as capable. Like, stop comparing and really just allow yourself to stretch, not like physically, but allow your capacity to stretch for what you think you can do, because you probably can do so much more than even what you think you can't do, like exponentially so. So just trust yourself, and don't believe in somebody else's calling more than you believe in yours.
That is so good. I believe that in Waiting to Exhale, the lead character, she said that she thought that if she gave him everything that he needed, that he would give her what she needed.
Mm,
And it didn't work that way. And we all, we know how it ended. He, after 11 years of marriage and her dedication to helping his business grow, her catering business never got off the ground because
mm,
he never reached back. He actually left her for somebody else. And, so I second that motion of what you just said about, believing in yourself, believing in, your capacity, and then if you don't have the capacity to do something, there are so many tools around and so many tools available to help you with that. I went through so many different therapies, I call it dating my doctors, because I said that what they told me, the diagnosis or prognosis they gave me, was not my destiny. And I
mm,
just would not accept what they told me, and
mm,
I didn't want that, not only for myself, but I didn't want my children to see me in that state, nor did I wanted to be able to be there for my grandchildren. So that's why every day I still, I keep up my routines, I keep up my regimens, I keep myself, where I need to be so that I can continue to be there for them and show them, or and demonstrate them, because it's really not what you say, it's what you show them.
yeah, absolutely.
And so I drink green drink every day, and we're gonna talk about healthy eating, but this is something that helps keeps me going every day and make sure that I get my nourishment in. And a plug for the book. Here it goes. I shouldn't show you, huh? It should be it. Well, you probably saw, but I have to say it. And the green drink is actually in it. It's smoothie time is here, everybody. It's smoothie time is here. We'll get more information out about the virtual book signing, which will be July the 10th. And we'll get more information out so that you all can join via Zoom. And and so anyhow, I guess for now, that's, like, share, subscribe, share this information with someone else. We do pray that it can be an encouragement for our viewers, and an encouragement for you. And what do we always say? Stay fearless. Bye for now.
Bye.